welcome to 2025. We made it. That one goes out to all my depressed homies, because we did do it. We did make it another year. I've just been thinking a lot about goals, obviously, because it's the new year. Fortunately, I started the year off my meds. There was some prior authorization mishap, and then CVS was out of stock for my medications, so we're waiting on them to refill. It's been over 10 days that I was supposed to get my meds 10 days ago, basically. So that's the main thing that's been happening, is I've been so focused on waiting to get my meds, because I could have gotten them all last week if the life had worked out a little differently. So I was waiting and I was waiting, and I wanted them so badly that I was just miserable. I was making myself miserable. And that's a lesson that I've already learned too, is that I don't need my Ritalin to do things. I need to believe in myself, honestly, a bit more. Obviously the meds help. Obviously this isn't your sign to stop taking your meds or anything. I still need my meds, but that kind of helplessness that I was feeling off of them is really unnecessary. I can do things, they're not my mood stabilizers. I don't know, it's just been really frustrating to have this lesson in my head and then forget about it completely for a week. But I did a tarot reading yesterday that reminded me, thank you, Three of Pentacles reverse, that I can do things. I can still do things. I just have to put my mind to it, and it will be a bit harder, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. So that was really helpful. I've had a much better couple days since then. Yeah, and hopefully I'll get my meds tomorrow if this snowstorm isn't super bad. By the way, it's snowing. It's actually hailing outside right now. Hello! I found this fruity Dynamite in my pants. Anyway, I haven't gotten my meds still. It's now many days after I filmed the last clip. We're making it through. That's kind of the only update I have at the moment. I still don't have my meds. I'm still not doing anything. Hey, I'm struggling at the moment. I'm gonna be real. So something that's been happening to me as somebody with ADHD who has been diagnosed for a very long time, I have been on stimulants for a very long time. And something that I'm really coming to a head with is the idea that I've developed that I can't do things off of stimulants. That I need whatever medicine I'm taking at the time to allow me to accomplish the things that I want to do. It's this very deeply held belief that I currently have. And I'm challenging that, right? Because I can't be on stimulants forever. I don't like being on stimulants. I'm taking them far too much for my liking. But what's happening, what I'm trying to do, is challenge that belief. What is this, off of the peak of this medicine, and I feel like I can't do anything already, but I'm still on the medicine, so what is this lesson of feeling bad in this moment trying to teach me? I think it's trying to teach me to let go, to be more flexible. I was writing this down, how to feel my feelings, how to be in this space of not wanting to do things, and then to be able to practice doing it anyway. So I wrote down in my notes, I struggle with doing hard things. That's a belief I have. So practice. I struggle with doing my favorite tasks. So practice. I struggle with resting. So practice. These are not problems. These are opportunities to practice something that I want to get better at. I want to get better at not being on Ritalin. I want to get better at resting and treating my body well. And these are opportunities to do that. So I have to remember that these are opportunities, not setbacks. I'm practicing and I'm learning how to do it as we speak.
So the first thing I'm thinking about is a guy with his mouth open, right? And then out of it, he's got flowers coming out of his mouth. Or what have you. He's got maybe some eye, maybe a little snarling nose, mouth action. He could be laughing, he could be snarling. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't think I want the spike there, though. Let me just erase that. I want a little bit more shape to that draw. And then I'm thinking, what about, so we've got this kind of outpouring this way, so maybe we should have a little bit of action behind his head. And then I think I want to add a little bit of a laurel, because to think about a situation in a new light is to already have won, I feel like, if that's even possible to win. But I think it's important to to say that that is like a win, to think about a situation differently than before. Because that's not something that happens very easily for a lot of people, myself included. We can give him a little bit of a beard. Just so I can remember that. That would go like that on a little piece of fabric. Flat on fabric. Maybe like 5 inches. Okay. I'm also thinking about the cicada wings. Right, so we've got a cicada wing. Maybe it's like growing off of the back of whatever this creature is. Right, so we've got this. Got a little claw action. And then I kind of want the neck to come down a bit, but like that. Something. This isn't looking how I expected it to yet, but it's fine. We've got I feel like a ram's horn would look really good. Like some sort of ornamentation of a ram's horn at least. And then maybe then here, I don't think the body goes out that far. I think it comes down. I think some sort of feather-like tail would really lend itself well to this creature, even though technically it doesn't have any feathers, so I guess not. Maybe a star instead. I like the little beards. I'm loving the little beards on dragons, TBH. So we're gonna do that. I don't love how the legs are situated, so we're gonna change that. I don't know, I might just leave this for now as like an unfinished sketch or something.
Okay, so I'm reading this paper called Humor and Metaphysical Truth by Mark Alsnauer. It's on like comedy, like Shakespearean comedy, and what that reveals about human nature. And this specific guy, his name is Jean-Paul Richter. He's a German writer in German Romanticism. And there's this one quote that I thought was really cool, because in the paper there's this mention of a book called The Mirror and the Lamp by M.H. Abrams, which characterizes the Romantic period as taking place amidst a general shift from the classical conception of poetry as imitating reality, poetry as the mirror of nature, to a more modern conception of art as the expression of powerful emotions which light the world up in a certain distinctive way, poetry as lamp. And that's the idea in the book. And Jean-Paul has actually issues with that. He criticizes that. But there's a specific quote about art that I really love. So, Jean-Paul's ambition is to find a way to accept that the romantic insight, that experience of beauty, is in some important respects subjective, a matter of the way the individual mind or spirit perceives the world, but without relinquishing the more classical conviction that art must reveal the objective truth of reality. So we have these two ideas. We have, art as a reaction, art as a subjective experience of beauty, and then we have art as a revealer of truth about the world. And quote, to hold both of these ideas in tandem, quote, he must see the poetic transformation of the real world into the beautiful world, not as an extraneous injection of subjective passions into a reality that could be more accurately described in prose, but as somehow completing the real world, allowing it to come to full fruition. So, I love that the experience of beauty and of seeing beauty in the world is an objective truth of whatever you're seeing, because everything is beautiful, right? If you really look and you dive into anything, there's magic in there. So the idea that when we see beauty, we're actually seeing the truth of what we're looking at, the real thing that normally we're too much on autopilot to pay attention to, that's just so juicy to me. I love that. The metaphors that Jean-Paul chooses to express this relation are, unsurprisingly, organic ones. He says, art is to reality as the bloom is to the flower, or that the second world of poetry stands to the first world of nature in the same relation that an English garden stands to its natural surroundings. This suggests that the message or truth that art conveys is not a reproduction of what we know already, what is already available in first nature, but a truth that can only come to us on, quote, poetic wings. In a vivid expression of this point, Jean-Paul characterizes art's relation to nature as a, quote, copy that contains more than the original, end quote. Love that. Just love that. these are the shelves. They're all done. Filled them in, obviously. So let's start at the top. This is where I put all of our stuffed animals that are a bit too big. They don't fit on the couch. We have a small couch. So they go up here. This is Jill Normus, made by Kaylee. We gave her a nose ring. That is a reindeer that my grandmother made. And then we also hung up that dish rack book thing that a lot of people have been doing on the side, so it was more rooms for books. We also have the Miku. Hi, Miku. Thank you for inventing Minecraft. And then we'll start this and go down. So this is a box, obviously, of all of our printing blocks. This has been a really big annoyance because it's always been behind stuff. So now it's quite easily reachable. Then we have one shelf down. We have our memorial for Gadget, who we love and miss dearly. These cool dice that are actually UV light, they light up under UV. It's very cool. And this little vase that actually has a ton of prompts in it that I can pull if I so desire. One more down, we have our cassettes. Alex has a great collection of these. He actually has a hand decorated one that I'm not going to show you because it has his dead name on it, but it's really cute. Next we have basket storage. And then I have another basket. I actually made this basket in college myself with Reed. And it is currently holding all of the scraps of yarn and like polyfill and stuff. I got this print from SPX a couple years ago. Then we have fabric, obviously, and then we have our record collection. Up here, our basket filled with patches. Then we have our Hermes altar for Hermes. Thank you, Hermes, for all your help. I made this offering bowl in wheel thrown ceramics. I really love it. It's supposed to be based on a tree. So you can see I carved bark-like detail into it, and it's actually earthenware, wheel thrown with the feet added, and then painted with what's it called, Maiolica. This little sheep beeswax candle from the Renaissance Fair. And these two sheeps were actually made by Alex's grandmother, who knitted them. And then this lovely doily on the bottom was made again by our friend Kaylee, the same person who made Jill Normus. It's so beautiful. It's absolutely a gorgeous little doily. Has these like 3D flowers. So cute. Then more fabric. And then down here we have my crochet hook collection, my EPP basket. And this was made by Ray of Sin, earthenware tile. It's so beautiful. This down here is our pattern bucket. We have tons of patterns, even though I don't really use patterns. Then the rest is just our big pieces of fabric, all folded neatly, and one final roll. And that's it. Those are the shelves. I'm so excited that they're done. They actually look really good, which I'm super happy by, because all of our other shelves up until this point just look like we shoved stuff into them willy-nilly. But these like look like adult shelves. Like I organized them, and they've got like dedicated spaces. It's not just stuff shoved in there. It just looks so good. I'm like so happy. Oh. They just look so good. Oh my god. When I got my meds for a reason. Unfortunately, that reason is that I took too much. I have been taking too much Ritalin for a while now, and it happened again. And you know what? It wasn't fun. It wasn't helpful, and I didn't end up doing anything that I wanted to do during that period. It was just kind of miserable. And I kind of realized that at the end there of that week, because I ran out of my Ritalin 15 days early, which is, I feel very vulnerable saying that, because it's such a, I don't know, I beat myself up about this, of course, but I'm trying not to, because I know it's not helpful. Regardless, I ran out of my meds 15 days early, and I knew that I had 15 days to get through. I had 15 days to survive, because up until that point, every time I was off of my Ritalin, I felt so miserable. I felt so bad because I just wanted to be back on it. But the days that I knew I wasn't going to get Ritalin and I didn't have any to take were easier than the days that I could take Ritalin, or I knew that it was coming tomorrow, that I would get my Ritalin tomorrow. So that had been happening for a really long time, and I had held this belief that Ritalin helped me feel functional, and functional meant not really thinking about my depression or my anxiety or any of that stuff, but it was actually just pushing it down deeper every time, and I thought it was making me feel good, but what it really was doing was letting me feed into my unhealthy habits in the name of productivity, in the name of getting stuff done. And I kind of realized that isn't true anymore. When I was going through this bender of just I had been miserable and I just wanted it all the time, I could get less than an hour of peak Ritalin, and then I felt like I needed more. I was literally addicted. I am addicted. I'm still going through this. I cannot stress enough how much it is a process. But those 15 days were incredibly healing because I decided that they would be. So what I did is I decided that I would just sleep and rest. And then if I felt like doing something, I would do it. I wouldn't force myself to do anything. I wouldn't sit at my desk staring blankly at my computer screen, waiting for some decision to be made so I can move forward, and then refusing to make that decision. There would be none of that this time. I lost so much sleep in that bender that I just slept. I said, I'm going to go sleep. I'm going to go rest. I feel very tired and I'm going to rest. And then when I get bored of resting, I will try to do something that I want to do. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to go rest some more. And then we'll rinse and repeat, right? So I did that. I slept for 4 days straight practically. And the first time I went back to my desk, I didn't do anything. I just sat there for, I think, 5 minutes before I went back to bed. As I gradually got more and more rest, I realized I was feeling better. And then I was more and more able to do the things that I love, that I would avoid doing because I felt like they weren't worth doing on a Ritalin, on peak Ritalin. I was chasing that high of super focus on an admin project, or just forcing myself to do things that I thought were productive or the right thing to do at the expense of the things that made me feel better. Like my writing project. I would choose to work on other things over my writing project because I thought my writing project was not worth doing on Ritalin, because there were more important things. And I was killing myself by doing this. And in those 15 days, I learned so much about my own abilities. I relearned, I got confidence in my own abilities. This is a journey that has been going on of like recognizing that I actually want to heal and that I actually have the capacity to heal within me. This has been a journey of many, many, many years. And it fucking is finally doing something to my brain. Oh my God. I got my Ritalin. I got it 3 days ago. So 15 days pass, I get my Ritalin. I take my first Ritalin of the pills of the month, and I feel so, and it's easy. I'm relaxing. I'm like, I can do this, and I can do this on Ritalin because it's healthy for me. I was relaxing. I was going to sit on the couch instead of just sitting at my desk. I made myself food. I cleaned, and it was amazing to be able to do these things that I'd been avoiding, but not realizing I was avoiding. So they just kind of piled up around me, and I felt bad about them, but I didn't know why I wasn't doing them. So that day I got my meds, I took my Ritalin at 2:30 p.m. Unfortunately, I did not sleep that night. The timeline previously is that I would take a Ritalin after about an hour. That first Ritalin, 12 fucking hours before I took a second one. And then after I took that second one, because it was at 5 a.m. that I took the second one. And then after that second Ritalin, I went to bed at like 10 p.m. that night. For real. Like I did not take a third Ritalin even though I wanted to. I went to bed at like 10 p.m. that night. I'd only taken the one. And then I get up yesterday, this time 13 hours. And then I take another one because it's the morning, and that's where we are. So, okay, all to say, I wasn't feeling very good about the situation anymore. Like, it's day 2 practically to me of the hardest Olympic marathon of my lifetime, right? It's hard. It is so fucking hard to have even gotten this far of having made that first 12 hours was so fucking difficult. The 15 hours was so difficult. Like, I cannot stress how hard this is to attempt to get better, the thing is that my doctor says that his supplier doesn't have my Ritalin in stock, and that none of his suppliers has my Ritalin in stock. So this is possibly the last month of Ritalin at the proper dosage that I will ever have for a while. I feel like this is my last chance to do this right. I feel like I have all the pieces within me, but I was feeling really guilty about taking the second one today. So I was talking to my tarot deck, and I pulled the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the King of Pentacles. You don't need to know anything about tarot, but what they basically say is that I am still on the right track. I haven't failed. I haven't ruined anything. I'm not irredeemable. I can do this. I have the capacity to do this. When I was off Ritalin, those 15 days, towards the end of that, period, I wrote 1,300 words in one sitting of my story. Off of fucking Ritalin. Off of Ritalin. I can do these things. I know I can now. I actually have proof, finally, of being able, it just never had happened before. This ability to trust that I could do it, because I feel like all my life I've been struggling to show up in ways that I cannot, and I'm finally learning the ways that I can and doing that for myself by healing, by treating my body better. And I don't even know if this is going to make it through my whole month like I want it to, but I made it 15 hours without taking a Ritalin. That's a fucking world record. And I'm proud of myself for that. Even if I don't ever get another Ritalin again, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself. If I don't do it, who is? Anyway, I think that's the end of this vlog. Wednesday, the 26th of February. It is currently 11:52 p.m. If you can catch my drift, it hasn't gone well in terms of Ritalin. I was avoiding filming at first because I didn't feel comfortable in that fact. I felt very shameful, I guess. Woo, this is very vulnerable for me, but I wanted to come back on here and say those expectations were too high for an addiction. And I'm glad I can recognize that now and stop like beating myself up over it. That's what I was doing. I was just feeling bad and like I wasn't doing it. Like I'd failed because I couldn't stop something without any support, cold turkey, with the substance right next to my desk. Like I want to embody a gentleness towards others that I must first embody towards myself. And I think that's the root of what people mean when they say you don't love somebody until you love yourself, is you can't ever show up fully for someone, anyone, without having met yourself and accepted who you are. And I've spent, up until this point, 26 years doing the exact opposite. All this to say, I failed, and that's okay. I don't have to do this Ritalin right. What I gotta do is treat myself with genuine respect and dignity. Treat my body with genuine respect and dignity. And show up. I just gotta... No, I don't need to do anything. Alex said something to me today that he's noticed that I've changed the way I speak to myself lately. And it's true. I'm really, like, I know this feeling isn't gonna last forever. That's okay. I know I'm gonna get scared again and not want to go outside. And that's okay. I don't need to beat myself up about it. I just need to remember that tonight is just a night. But I went outside and there were bunnies playing in the yard behind the house. And they didn't care that we were there. They didn't run away. We didn't scare them when we moved or got out of the car. They were playing. They were jumping. And they were running. And they looked like they were having a lot of fun. I want to have fun. I know it's a bit disjointed and pretty long. It's all of January and February, but I thought that this was a nice wrapping up point. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's shown up for me in the past 2 months, if not before then. Super special shout out to that concrete guy who always likes my stories on Instagram. You a real one. Things are changing. Slowly but surely. Things are changing. My name is Reuven Evelyn. This is Earthworms. Thanks for watching. We'll see ya.